So why are you not then paying them if you use their system?
Under performance.
Was that in your contract that the commission is tied to their performance? Because it must have been in the contract that you signed. If it was not there, then you have to pay them.
I don't have a contract here.
Sorry?
Sorry, I cannot comment that because I don't have the contract here.
The receiver of revenue is present, and I think this is a day-to-day job of the receiver of revenue.
Senator, honestly, we are playing around because this county is not serious in responding to queries. Because they are giving us contradicting statements as far as payment is concerned. And number two, you cannot go to a shamba without a jembe. When the governor sits here and says he doesn't have a contract with him. And this is an audit query, which you should have armed yourself with a contract that is running at that particular time. Again, Chair, he's not responding to queries. We were asking, at what stage did you discover that the equipment or the system is not working? They're not responding. How can you sit for 3 years and all of a sudden you say this is not working and we are not even going to pay? It's going to put that county into actually a liability because it's a signed contract. You can't sit here and say the system has not been working. We're not paying. They have to pay for it, unless there is an exit clause at the right time.
You know, Chair, why I'm asking this question on the contract.
I hope the county's attorney is listening in, because these things of saying I can't pay when you've got a contractual obligation, sometimes you end up causing more problems than solutions.
You know, Chair, why we must interrogate this question of the contract. It is on what I was signed that the governor used to pay the 19 million. Because why didn't he choose to say, these guys did not perform, so I'm not even paying for the equipment? Because why are you paying for an equipment that did not perform? If the payment was tied on performance, why then did you pay for an equipment that, that did not perform? Governor, there's no way you can run away from the question of the contract. Because it is not your word, just allow me to finish, it is not your word to say that you are paying or not paying. It is what is in the contract. If the contract was what the CEC, your CEC has said, that the contract was 5%, 5.5% of what was corrected. If ZZ corrected 169 million, and it is in your contract that 5.5% is their money, then you have no rockers of saying that you cannot pay them.
Senator Onyonka?
Governor Nyaribo, I wanted to raise two questions. Question number one, do you actually understand what the concern of this team is?
Yes.
If you understand what the concern is, and this is not a particularly Nyamira story, this is a story of our country called Kenya. Number one, there are questions which we ask because we need certain evidence for us to either rest a matter or proceed with it. That's the right way it's done. Who owns this system? Who signed the agreement with this system? How much money have you made with this system until you terminated it? After you terminated it, what else did you bring in? My assumption is that this system has got two bank accounts, the one which you were using before the system was easy, and the second one, which then you created another system. Do you have those facts for this committee so that we are able then to interrogate this matter logically and conclusively? Those are the issues we are dealing with.
Governor?
Chairman, the CC was owned by a company called Riverbank, and I'm sure you have had several cases countrywide. They had issues. But what I want to clarify here clearly is that the 5.5, we were not committed to 5.5. It was a guideline which they used to raise, so they cannot go to court.
Honorable members, we now need to make progress. We don't seem to be getting the information we need from the county executive. And there's no way we can resolve the issues raised here by the Auditor General. Auditor General, you have only complicated our lives by your mix-up of that analysis. Because if your analysis was accurate, then we would be taking serious issue with the county executive. But you have admitted that there was some mix-up. You guys need to clean this up. so that we know the actual variance. You need to tell us that of that 3 million, and the county must provide that information. If they reported 3 million more, where did that 3 million come from? But then still the issue of the 6 million. What was the problem of the 6.025 million that you had cited?
Chair, on the issue of the 6,058,861, it was revenue deposited in revenue collection bank account, but was not included in the revenue statements. Thank you, Chair.
861,000.
58,861.
58,861.
61.
Receipt of revenue, how did you account for that? 58,861.
Honorable Chair, we were able to sweep that amount to the CRF account, much as it was not there when the auditors were running the statements. Later on, we were able to move the funds from the Revenue Collection Bank to CRF. And we've been able to attach a statement showing the same.
Auditor General, have you looked at that statement? Because that's 58,861 out of 6,058,861. OAG. It means they've been able to spend 6 million, but 58,000 was still pending.
We were not provided with the details of that statement to confirm the figures.
For the 6 million or for the 58,000?
For the 58,000.
For the 58,000?
Yes.
But for the 6 million?
The 6 million is just a difference between the two figures.
Which figures?
We don't have the evidence of how the amount was swept to the CRF account.
There's work for both the auditor and the client to do on this receipt of revenue statement. First of all, the auditor, you must clean up your analysis. You have just pointed out the mix-up. Clean up that analysis. The county executive must go beyond the audit query here. As a Senate, we are interested in knowing the status of this system that you are saying is discontinued. We have asked you the total cost that has been incurred on it. Governor, you have only talked of 19 million for equipment. We need to know whether there was a cost for implementation, whether there was a cost for software licenses, whether there was a cost on commission, collection commission. We can only tell when we see the contract. Has a contract been provided to the Auditor General for Zizi?
Honorable Chair, with your permission, we can provide the same.
The contract of any outstanding amounts that is still in dispute. The governor says then you need to make a provision for it. So we need to understand those aspects of the old system. I'm assuming you now have a new system. Governor, do you have a new system or you went manual?
Chair, we have a new system of National Bank.
Now, of the new system, we want as a Senate to understand the same aspects of the new system. So what the contract for the new system, so that we can clearly tell what it's going to cost the people of Nyamira. And you'll also tell us the payments that have been made so far on that new system. The reason why we are concerned here is because in 3 financial years, your own source revenue has been going down. People have been doing studies on the relationship between automation and own source revenue. And in your case, in 2019-2020, you collected 187 million. The following year, it went down to 168 million. The following year, it was at 169 million. So you started from 187 and went to 169 with a system.
Excuse me, Chair. That was period of COVID.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter, Governor. Everyone is using Gen Z as an excuse. You'll come here for the next audit, you'll say you couldn't collect because Gen Zs rejected your finance bill. So those are excuses. But if you do a relationship, if you map a relationship, it tells you that your automation did not yield the necessary efficiencies. And yet, theoretically, you are going to spend, even if you are to just do 5.5%, 5.5% would have been 28 million of collections over that period, plus the 19 million that you have talked about. And we don't know whether there are costs regarding software licenses. So we want to take Nyamira as a case study because we'll be engaging the Treasury at some point on that single system that they want to roll out to counties. That's why we must get that information and the granular data from Nyamira County. So within 7 days, the Auditor General will clean up the analysis and will provide to the auditor for review and analysis the contracts for the old and the new system, the payments for the old and the new system, and the collections under the old and the new system. That way, our Parliamentary Budget Office will be able to study and write a report on the effectiveness of systems in Nyamira County. Senator
Chair,
Bulo.
I just wanted to know whether the contract was formally terminated or they just went silent.
Governor, was there a termination before you went into another marriage?
It was formal. That's why we extended for 6 months so that we can make it formal.
Okay. There is a question that has been raised in this report about lack of evaluation role. What is the progress on this, Governor? Lack of valuation role and accompanying legislation?
I think, wait, under what?
Maybe just go to your written response.
We had contracted somebody to do it and it's in progress. I think we have a draft.
Governor, first of all, look at your written response before you
The
make
management concurs with the auditor's observation that at the time of audit, the county executive was still using valuation rule of 2006, inherited from the defunct local authorities in the collection of plot rents and land rates. However, the county is currently updating its valuation rule, which in its final stages of completion, expected to be completed by December 2024.
Any evidence to that effect?
Yes.
Where is it in this management response?
We have a contract agreement.
Is it attached? Is it referred to in
Yes.
this management? Assuming we are to take written responses, how will we be able to get visibility of that progress that you're making? I hope you understand my question.
Pardon?
What is the evidence that whatever you are saying is happening? Because
We
the
have a
evidence
contract
could be a letter,
agreement.
could be a contract. Yes, where is it?
We
Is it
have an
attached?
inception report, and we have also an interim, a draft report.
Was it presented to the Auditor General when the auditor asked this question? Yes or no?
Honorable Chair,
Yes or no?
no,
Has it been presented to the Senate for its consideration?
yes.
Where is it?
We have attached the annexures for the contract agreement, the inception report.
Which annex?
However, it is in the executive report
There's
of
a
21-22. It
Because
is the
there's a
same
query
query, yes.
On that.
Yes.
Okay. So we'll get it when we get to the 21,
22.
21, 22.
Yes.
Maybe just take us there so that we close the matter, so that we don't have to revisit it.
Honorable Chair, if you go to page 11 of 42 of the executive report for 21-22,
Page?
the query is on page 10,
Yeah, but the response,
2.2.
the annexures,
The annexures are in the big document.
which annexure is that, or which appendix?
So it's annexure 2.21, where we have attached a contract agreement between the valuer and the county government.
2.21?
2.2I.
I'm seeing 2.1I, then it goes to 2.3.
Then there's also the excerpt of the inception report.
Just guide us on the annexure, because we just, I just want to, we are just interested in evidence that you are doing the valuation role. Annex 2.12 is an agreement with the KMPDU. Is there 2.2? So why is it that, is it here? Let's check whether it's here. Because it cannot be that we have different sets of records. Is it in that pack? No, check on, that was the pack that was given to the chair. Just check whether it's there.
Mine has.
That one does not have. Members, I hope that, because you can't be dealing with inconsistent records. So we'll give you the benefits of doubt because I'm seeing it in a pack here, but it should not be that some packs have got records which other packs don't have. So what do you have there? Just explain.
So as I was saying, Honorable Chair, we have, we're making good progress toward the evaluation role.
Just describe the documents. The first one.
The contract agreement. We have the inception report, an excerpt of phase 1.
What is the duration of the contract?
How long? 18 months, Honorable Chair.
On which page do we see that?
Where will we get that?
Should have been in the contract.
I guess
not there.
on the contract agreement.
On which
We are
page?
there, which page?
Honorable Chair, the Chief Officer in charge of lands confirms that the contract is just an excerpt, but then the period is for 18 months.
From?
Where is that? Where is that information?
Because this, even if it's
Where
an
is that
excerpt,
information?
it's not dated. We don't even know when it was executed.
No, you can show me. Use this one. David,
Maybe, Chair,
you can use this.
there are documents that are supposed
Can
to
you
have been attached to this particular contract, which are not here. The general conditions of the contract, the special conditions of the contract, which are not here, including the description of services that are supposed to be offered. This contract it does not point to anything without the description of the contract, without any conditions of the contract, and even the services that you are seeking.
Honorable Chair, we have just annexed just a summary of the contract, but the whole contract document, we don't have it here with us. but it has all the full details.
So why, let me ask, why are you giving us piecemeal information? Why can, if you want to give us information about a contract, why can't you attach the whole contract? Then we can look at the terms of the contracts.
Maybe a more substantive question, Senator Omogani, that you should be asking, and it has been asked by the chair. What if we were to take the written responses? What would we see in this contract that would point to why you attach this? Anybody who is seeing this contract for the first time, what information can we get from it?
Honorable Chair, I think the error is not intentional in the sense that we were trying to show that we've actually entered into an agreement for the valuation role, but we are very much willing to provide more details on the same.
So what's the contract sum?
Honorable Chair, with your permission, can I allow the Chief Officer in charge of that to answer the query?
Something is emerging in this country.
But why, you know,
that you'll find a CEO knows how the economy has grown, how much they are collecting as revenue, how much they are planning to spend, but they don't know the number of people who have been killed. And it's out of convenience, just trying to avoid responding to certain questions conveniently. Senator Methu, I don't expect you to interject because I know which side you are on nowadays.
Excuse me, Chair.
So what's the contract sum?
Honorable Chair, the contract sum is 58 million.
Senator Nyonke?
Just a minute before you
Yes.
say 58 million to do evaluation for how much are you collecting?
At the moment, currently,
160?
oh, it's not 169. We have already improved at the moment. Maybe the
No, refer to the audit report that is before us. How much have you collected in that financial year?
in that financial year we collected 169, but currently we are over
58 million. Is that why you didn't want to put that contract before us? Because what is value for money? You are looking at a collection of 169 and you want to pay somebody close to 60 million to do evaluation for you.
Actually, the better analysis should have been, what do you expect to collect out of property rates? Because the valuation is related to property rates.
Your rates, do you know how much you collected?
Yes.
How much?
The current rates.
How much?
At the moment, the current rates we have, in the lands department we are collecting around, it's around 50, almost 51 million.
51?
Yes,
Why is that figure been hidden? What is here is 12 million?
currently.
No, I'm saying let's refer to what is audited. That's the record that is before us. How much is it?
Property rates, that's around 12 million.
And you want to pay somebody how much to do evaluation?
We have improved, sir.
No.
Chairman,
No, I can now see why you didn't want us to see that contract. That was deliberate.
Chairman,
Huh?
with your permission, the last time audit evaluation was done was 2006. Therefore, when we do valuation and pay 58, valuing all assets or land of the county, it's a long term. It's not a one year off. It's a long term benefit to the county.
You said the duration is how many months? 16 months?
18 months.
So 58 million over 18 months. So what is your expectation? What's your business case for spending 58 million? If right now you are collecting 12 million. So what's the business case? That we spend 58 million so that we can optimize our revenue to what level?
Well, Honorable Chair, if you notice the 169 million that we collected in 21-22, it was based on an old valuation roll.
169 included hospital fees.
Yes.
We are narrowing down on the revenue streams that relate to the valuation roll. That will be property rates and land rates, isn't it?
Yes.
And that one you are collecting about 12 million or 15 million?
Then, yes.
Yeah. So what are you collecting now on those two streams?
We are at about 51 million for that particular stream.
So what then is a business case? I'm spending 58 million. I'm collecting 51 million. I want to spend 58 million on this stream. What do I get in return?
Honorable Chair, the valuation roll, as actually not been implemented except for the inception report. And once we adopt it, then we expect to have a big case around the collections.
What is your forecast business case? I'm talking, what is a business case for spending 58 million on the valuation role? I know it is important.
Yes.
And I think we have directed you to have a valuation role.
Yes.
But we are asking, beside directing you, what is the business case? If you're collecting 12 million in this year, then perhaps you should have spent less on that exercise. Unless this 58 million, you know what it's going to yield. So what do you expect
Honorable
to
Chair,
get out of 58?
Okay, the business case is that from the inception report that we've actually got of phase 1, which started with the multinationals, we are likely to collect 198 million should we implement that report. So I guess the investment is worth the collections that we expect.
Maybe so that I get it. Did you say that your current collection from property rate and run rate is 51 million?
Yes, for the financial year 23-24.
Auditor General, maybe just allow me, Governor, because Auditor General, is that statement factual that they collected 2 million and 12 million, 14 million 2 years ago, and it has grown? That revenue stream has grown 5 times. They are now collecting 51 million.
Chairman.
No, just allow me.
Okay, allow the auditor to clarify. Then we'll hear Senator Nyonka. Then we'll give the opportunity.
Thank you, Chairman. You know, we deal with figures. In the absence of analysis from 2006 to the current contracts service provider, we have no evidence that such kind of figures.
No, maybe you didn't get my question.
Yes.
On a specific question, what you recorded, and Monique, you help me so that we are together. What was the correction as at June 2022? They corrected 2.5 million for property rate. They corrected 12.3 million for run rate. That should be 15 million. So we don't have the figures for 2023. They now say that the figures for 2024, in 2 years, that revenue stream has to 51 million. I just want to know from you, because they are the only people that I can trust, whether that statement is factual.
I think the answer is in the attachments. That's the receivable revenue statement for year ended 30th June 2023 that I was looking at earlier. And you can see in 2022-2023, Governor, in 2022-2023, those two streams, one grew by 5 million to 17 million, and the other one on rent dropped by 1 million to 1.6. So it's still just about 20 million.
In fact, it is now 18 million. Now we are closer. The year ended June 2023, they corrected 18 million. The year ended June 2024, they have corrected 51 million. Unless these people have been stealing that money, there is no way that revenue would have grown in 1 year 3 times.
And 2024, we can't take word of mouth. It was closed just 2 days ago. We wait for the audited account.
Chairman.
Governor.
We are on an exercise of growing our own source of revenue. The 51 million we are talking about is not imaginary. We can even show you online that actually we have done it. And we have done it even without the valuation roll. But once the roll is finished and it goes through the counter assembly, we expect that stream to bring over 200 million per year.
Senator Nyonka, so that we make progress.
Thank you, Governor. Through you, Chair, Governor Nyaribo, I wanted to ask you whether you are aware on what Kericho County has done on the valuation roll. And the reason I'm asking you is because the same issues, because of the large European firms, and because I sit in the committee and we've been informed that for them, they are now at about 3,500 per acre. What have you done to fast track Nyamira to be able to reach where Kericho has reached? And do you have any agreement you have agreed with the European firms which are in Nyamira County?
Governor.
Chair, we cannot bargain because we intend to move it even further than 3.5. We expect to move between 6 and 8 million per an acre. But that operation has been completed in order to have a basis of setting and talking, because we don't want court cases. Sometimes we sit on the table and agree on an agreeable amount than going to court, because court sometimes takes many years.
Our concern is based on the recent happenings, where the presidency is proposing a cut on the allocations due to counties. Our position as a Senate is very clear. We cannot accept any revision of what has already been appropriated to county governments, because the Constitution is clear that if there is a revenue shortfall, it is borne by the national government. But assuming that there would be a tyranny of numbers and all sorts of undue schemes, and that prayer by the presidency would be true, you are going to suffer. You are equitable chair.
We will go to court, Chairman.
Yes, you'll go to court, but you are not sure of the outcome. Assuming that it goes to that, you have to rely on your own source revenue. And that's why we are pushing, because Nyamira is, I would say Nyamira has got a more productive agricultural base, and even trade, SMEs, than Homa Bay. But you see the difference in terms of on-source revenue. So we'll continue pushing for this. I want us to bring to close the ROR discussion. Governor, there are a lot of unanswered questions. We have already given directions on the systems. On this valuation role, what we needed from you was evidence that you're taking action. Unfortunately, you have brought to us a redacted copy of the contract, just like what the government did when you were asking for disclosure on Eurobond. They gave a redacted contract. Provide a contract that has all these questions that we are asking about to the Auditor General. Can that be done within 7 days, Governor?
Yes, Chairman.
Yeah, once the Auditor General has it, then it shall be transmitted to the committee. Accompany that with an analysis of your business case, that you are spending 58 million and you expect to raise this amount. I'm sure you did that analysis before you floated the tender and before you even quantified that valuation role. So Auditor General, please, within 7 days, we'll be expecting. Once you receive that, you'll do the analysis to help us in our report writing. I then want us to go to the report for financial year 2021-2022. There are a few issues that we will focus on, and there could be a few which, if your written response is comprehensive enough, we might take the written responses. But I hope you have not responded in the same way we have seen your responses in the ROR statement. Auditor General, what was your opinion in the financial year ended 2022?
Chair, it was a qualified opinion.
And what was the basis of that opinion?
Basis was based on 5 paragraphs. Failure to reconcile transfers to other government entities, long outstanding land rates, lack of updated valuation role, compensation.
Okay, I think let's go point by point on failure to reconcile transfers to other government entities. This one was transfers to Nyamira County Assembly. Are there still gaps in the explanation provided by the county?
Madam Chair, this is an issue of accounting, because you will see there's a figure of 1.2 million. In the assembly record, the amount was transferred on 20th June 2021, but you see, you can only recognize cash when it's received. So the amount was received in the account of the assembly on 1st of June 2022.
June or July?
1st of July 2022. And even there is a Form C from the controller budget.
1st of July, Treasury still opens the window. For example, now, right now, Governor, today is 2nd of July. Isn't the window still open for you to make transactions for about 15 days?
It is open, but that time it was not open. That time. But currently, yes.
Auditor General?
Thank you, Chair. You know, the window, the grace period must be very clear in the statement, because during that time there was no specific grace period for the accounting of the transfers.
In your analysis, how much money was transferred to the county assembly, despite the cutoff? If you take away the 30th June cutoff, how much did the assembly, how much did the executive send to the assembly? Was it 784 million?
Thank you, Chair. If you less the 1.2 million from the 78, it cannot be, I think it is around.
Because I want to deal with two different things here. There is the accounting problem, which comes with cutoff and cash basis. But then there's also the loss of funds between the executive and the assembly, which, as you know, the neighboring county assembly of Homa Bay, some former officials are in court because, no, they're not in court, they're in prison. Because the executive sent money to them, they didn't recognize the money in full. They diverted it to personal accounts. So I want to find out whether that is the case we are dealing with here, or it's just an accounting reporting cutoff problem.
Chair, this case is an issue of accounting, because you find, just as I explained earlier, the amount it was transferred on 30th June 2022, but it hit the account of County Assembly on 1st of July 2022. So it means they are recognized the 1.2 as transfer for the year ending 30th June 2022. But it was in the county assembly account, the amount was not for 2022, the amount was past the year 2022.
But eventually the money came.
But eventually the amount was received.
In full?
Yeah, 1.2.
So there's no gap there.
There's no gap because there's the.
It's just a timing difference.
The accounting issue.
Okay, if that is the case, then this would not be, because we have an inquiry in Migori County as well. In Migori County, 78 million was sent by the executive, but was never recognized by the assembly. And to date, they failed to explain that, and we have asked EACC to look into the matter. So if it's an accounting problem, then we can take the assurance of the OAG. Let's go to other receipts. Land rates, updated valuation roll. Those are some of the things we have discussed under the receipt of revenue statement. Governor, these arrears of 74 million, what are you doing about them? They have been outstanding since 2010. This is more of an ROR question. It's an observation that should have come under the receipt of revenue statement, but it is here. So can you tell us what you're doing, what action you're taking?
Minister, please.
Thank you, Chair. Allow me to read our response as follows. Management concurs with the observation by the auditor that there was an accumulated run rate arrears of 74,883,703 at the time of audit review. However, as per the Nyamira County Revenue Administration Act of 2023, read together with Section 18.3 of Section 18.3 of the Nyamira County Revenue Administration Act, read together with Section 159 of the PFM Act of 2012, a 100% waiver on interest and penalties on run rates arrears was issued on March 2024, and We have also done sensitization on the payment of arrears.
And so, as a result of those initiatives, your outstanding has reduced from 74 to which amount?
It's reduced, Chair, in the current financial year.
This particular amount cited?
Yes, was paid.
When you waive penalties and interest, what remains outstanding?
Honorable Chair, from the balance of 74,883,000, given that in the fiscal year that just ended of 23-24, where we've been able to collect 51, so then the balance is 23, which remains outstanding.
Was this 74 the principal amount, or this 74 was principal plus interest, Auditor General?
Thank you, Chair. This was the principal amount.
This was the principal amount?
Yes.
So, Governor, your is that the effect of this waiver will be seen in the financial year ending 2024?
Yes, Honorable Chair.
Okay, unless, I think then the matter then must be kept in view.
Chair, that is a position because the response that has been given before this committee has not given details of their land rate areas. We don't have details of the numbers for us to be able to determine to whom these amounts are owed from, especially the names of the landlords. So I think there is more information that is required for us to be able to fully determine from whom do we claim these amounts from. So that information is lacking, Chair.
Yeah, and since they are presenting evidence of amended laws of 2023 and newspaper advertisements of 2023, then this matter, we agree with the auditor that amount has been long outstanding. It can only be mitigated in the financial year ended 30th June 2024, when they provide you with the evidence of those successful waivers, because sometimes you spend a lot of money in publicizing waivers, billboards, newspaper advertisements, radio advertisements, and sometimes you don't collect as much as you have spent. If you drive around Nairobi, you'll see faces of Governor Sakaja and Governor MATIANG'I announcing waivers, going to great expense, but they never tell us what that campaign has achieved. But I think let's keep this in view, and it can be captured in receipt of revenue statement or receipt of revenue report for 2024. We have discussed the valuation role, and we have already given directives on that. Let's go to HR matters, and this is very important because it comprises 57% of your expenditure. Auditor General, what is your... So we'll take the related HR issues together so that we deal with them with one stroke.
Thank you, Chair. On compensation of employees, the issues are to do with the manual processing of payroll. An amount of Kenya shillings 54,710,761 was processed through manually outside the IPPD system, and manual processing of payroll involves manual calculation of deductions and net pay by human resource officers and regular monthly or annual updates, which are prone to human error. And then again, the balance includes salaries and allowances totaling 986,584 paid to 2 officers who are among 47 officers employed during the year under review. One of the officers was appointed to the position of Senior Inspector, Water and Sanitation in the Ministry of Environment, Water, Mining and Natural Resources, while the other was employed as a civil engineer in the Ministry of Lands, Housing and Urban Development. However, the payment to the 2 officers, including basic salary arrears and uniform allowances of 727,084 and Kenya shillings 80,000 respectively, for which the relevant supporting documents were not provided for audit. Thank you, Chair.
Governor, your response?
Thank you, Chair. Management concurs with the auditor's observation that indeed officers were paid outside IPPD, and this was mainly for temporary staff. However, it has been stopped and we no longer pay outside IPPD. The names of the two individuals mentioned by the auditor were illegally inserted in a list of officers who were successfully recruited by the County Public Service Board. This irregularity is under investigation by DCI. The county government of Nyamira has written to DCI seeking the way forward. We have attached our next chair, which is the letter from the county secretary to DCI. Thank you, Chair.
What does that letter talk about?
Chair.
Yes, please tell us, tell us what you're communicating in that letter.
Thank you, Chair. In our exhibit dated 14th of May 2024, it's a letter written to DCI from the Office of the County Secretary seeking the status report on the investigations into alleged fraudulent recruitment of staff. We are yet to receive the said report from DCI.
The problem I'm having with this response is that we read your earlier response, which came in advance, and there is something you have redacted your earlier response. Clerk, can you go to the response that we received, because that governor is not proper. It's not proper. When we were preparing for this meeting, we went through your response, and it is different from what I'm reading.
Chair.
As the clerk looks at this, I've seen that the letter that you wrote to the DCI was written on the 15th of May, 2024. Is that not so?